And we're back to this room. I finished reading over the material, but to be honest, it tells me little. Most of the principals involved are already deceased, including Koitsu Kirijo, Shuji Ikutsuki, and the persona users whose abilities were artificially awakened, aka Strega. Still, I do learn something. The culprit's objective in Labrys' case had similarities to the purpose of Ergo research. To deliberately gather shadows in order to fuse them together. If that was the objective, wouldn't the TV world have been an ideal place for a test run?
It may be best if I check inside of the TV world once more.
When I open my cell phone to share my findings, scanned though they may be, I notice that the hour is late. It's almost the next day.
It's a bit late to call them. Which reminds me, I think I heard thunder earlier. Could it have rained?
That word, rained, gives me pause. During the incident with Labrys, the Midnight Channel was broadcasting again. If her case is truly ongoing, does that mean it could come on tonight? A bad feeling crosses my mind.
A call at this hour? From an unknown number. Hello.
I got through. Miss Detective? Wait, no. Naoto-kun, right?
That voice. Is that you, Labrys? What's the matter?
Listen up, because we got a big problem. Mitsuru-san and the others were on their way to Inaba, but they've gone missing.
Missing?
So we were gonna go look for them, but these weird guys came barging into the Shadow Operatives lab. I'm the only one who got out.
The Shadow Operatives research lab was attacked? Could it be the enemy? No, that's not it. This is most likely.
Labrys, calm down. Can you describe anything unique about the people who invaded your headquarters?
Unique? They came in a big group. They wore suits. They showed this paper-looking thing, and they said something about an investigation.
Just as I thought. Public safety. I had my suspicions, but there can be no mistake. Though the Kirijo group and public safety are formally in cooperation, public safety privately has a low opinion of the Shadow Operatives. Hence, their request that I perform an undercover investigation. They must have found out about Mitsuru-san's disappearance and used it as an opportunity to launch a compulsory investigation. But Mitsuru-san's disappearance, could it really be related to public safety's move? Labrys said a moment ago that Mitsuru-san and her people were headed to Inaba. Why? While I think carefully, sorting through this new information, I ask Labrys for more details.
I understand. What's your present situation?
I can't go back to the lab, right? Even if I could, I wouldn't know what to do without Mitsuru-san around. But then I found out the Shadow Operatives got these special folks who only get called up in emergencies. I just met up with them a minute ago, and we're about to go look for Mitsuru-san and them.
Understood. I'll cooperate as well. I'm sure the others won't say no either. We'll all try searching for Mitsuru-san.
Really? Thanks.
Labrys, there's something else I'd like to ask. Why was Mitsuru-san headed for Inaba?
If I remember right, they found a weird shadow reading over there, so they were gonna go look into it.
A weird shadow reading?
An abnormal shadow reading is detected in Inaba, and Mitsuru-san and her people go missing when they head out to investigate? Even if this is unrelated to the public safety matter, I can't overlook this detail. Mitsuru-san and her people are persona users, and extremely skilled ones at that. If they are in a situation with no means of contacting, then whatever enemy they face must be formidable. And the first such enemy who comes to mind is the culprit who kidnapped Labrys and forced us to fight in the P1 Grand Prix.
She said the reading spiked all of a sudden. Did something happen over there?
I'm glad they took the time to spell out Oliva.
Nothing springs to mind. Oh, sorry, hold on a moment.
I check the clock on the wall of the drawing room. It's almost midnight. If there was an abnormal shadow reading, the Midnight Channel could be involved. I need to find a room with a TV.
I'm sorry, but let's continue this on the move. We should meet up at the very least. Actually, is that a helicopter I hear in the background?
Yeah, I'm surprised you can tell. We have a maid piloting one right now.
Surprised you could tell because it's super loud in the background. A personal helicopter and a maid piloting it? I never thought of my family as poor, but thinking back to that limousine, the Kirijo clan seems to be on a completely different level.
Let me think of a place where a helicopter could land around here.
As I continue to talk while walking down the hallway, all the lights suddenly turn off. Though it is midnight, this is a police station. There should be several officers still stationed here, even at this hour. However, in defiance of these facts, an unnatural stillness pervades the air.
A blackout.
No, that's not it. The roaring helicopter's rotors on the other end of the line have also fallen silent.
Labrys?
My cell phone has gone dead, as if the batteries were drained. I tried a few things, but it won't even turn on. Have all the electronics here stopped working so suddenly? I opened a nearby door to get a better look at my environment. The empty room is hazily lit by an eerie red glow coming from the window. Walking to get a clearer view, I gasp at the sight outside. An obvious pall has fallen upon this quiet rural town. Stop using big words.
Red fog?
Seeing the town enveloped in fog, I can't help but remember last year's case. With the foreboding feeling that the situation has taken a turn for the worse, I quickly leave the strangely empty Inaba station. Only to be met with a to be continued. So now we can head over to Rise. So let's go. I raise one arm towards the mirror-lined wall and close my eyes. In my mind, I see a stage, and the hazy shadow of a band. Glow sticks of all different colors shine in the packed seats. I'm looking at them from my mark, indicated with a spot of fluorescent paint. The moment the countdown hits 0, a spotlight comes on. I reach towards the flooding light and become one with the stage.
Say hello. You gotta say goodbye to 1,000 lies, yeah. Shout, friends, just those words you really mean. And let your voice be heard all over the world. Stand up when you hear a knock on the door. It's me, come on out. Get ready for your true story.
Best part about that cutscene is her wearing the Persona 4 Dancing All Night attire. As I calm my breathing and look towards the clock to check how long the performance took me, I see its hand pointing to 2, which brings me back to reality in a hurry.
Oh crap! I didn't take my bike today. I wonder if I could make the last train. Night, everyone. I'm off for today.
I hurriedly address the people I pass as I fly out of the studio. After a mad dash to Okina Station, I barely make it into the stopped train.
Made it.
I take a breather as the train slowly pulls out. The last train on a holiday is usually pretty empty, so I sit in an open seat and get my tunes from my bag. You know, my tunes. There's a new song on there they just gave me this afternoon. Today felt so long for some reason.
It's gotten a lot later than we expected. Are you still okay on time?
We'd like to welcome you to this new location, Car.
He didn't have to give me a lift, you know. I'd have been fine.
That's not the issue. Come on, I'm your manager.
Oh, the reason Inoue-san seems so happy is because of the news we got earlier. When our president called us back to the office from the shoot today, we were greeted with a new song for me and a detailed plan for my comeback.
Still, I had no idea that the boss was putting together such a detailed plan for your comeback.
Well, I'm grateful and all, but I just don't think I'm ready yet.
That's not true. We've all seen how hard you've been working. You're much stronger than you were. I think the boss is making the right decision.
Are you just flattering me, Inoue-san?
Never intentionally. You sang that new song we gave you today after just a short lesson. You even memorized the dance steps in record time.
I wasn't any good, though. I got distracted by the steps and kept going off key. And I wasn't hitting the turns cleanly. I've still got a long way to go.
It's true. Even as far as discussion of my comeback goes, if Inoue-san hadn't come up with an excuse for why he couldn't get in contact with me until yesterday, the plans could have been sunk.
Rise-chan, did something happen?
Huh?
I know that there's a part of your life you won't let me into, and that's okay. An idol doesn't need to tell her manager everything. But there's a difference between keeping things private and isolating yourself. You asked if you could get some days off during the long holiday, right? And you didn't seem too keen on today's session either. Did you have some other engagement in mind?
No, you're just cutting me too much slack. Thanks, though. It's nothing to do with work. But there was something that made me realize how powerless I am.
So many people are supporting me for my comeback, but no matter how much I throw myself into rehearsals, all I can think about is how I was nothing but a burden in the incident yesterday.
Rise-chan?
I'm okay. Were you worried I'd quit again? I'm still set on getting back into showbiz, once I shake off the rust from my hiatus.
I can tell that much from watching you practice. Still, maybe you need a breather.
Huh?
The publisher consulted me about maybe rescheduling the photo shoot. When I told them doing it later would be problematic since you're still a student, they decided to reschedule for another time. So, take a nice break tomorrow.
Inoue-san.
But things will be busy after the long holiday. The success of your comeback project is on the line here.
I really appreciate it. Can you let me off at Okina Station today? If I have tomorrow off, I want to stop by the studio and practice a little more.
Huh? But wouldn't it be late by the time you're done? Why don't I take you straight home?
There's not enough room at home. Please? I'll go straight home after I practice a little.
Well, alright. But don't push yourself too hard, okay?
I won't. Actually, though, you shouldn't coddle me so much either. Okay, Inoue-san?
And now back to the train. Through the train window, I can see the countryside, with only a few lights here and there. The train was empty to begin with, and it only gets emptier as we approach the final stop.
A long holiday, huh?
This holiday was supposed to cap off with just work and rehearsals. Even when I heard Yu Senpai was coming back, I was the one who decided not to change my plans. When I told the others, they said stuff like, "Oh, well, work's work," and "hang in there." Kanji was the only one who acted like a kid, saying, "What's more important to you, your work or Senpai?"
That reminds me. Naoto-kun had to work during the holidays too.
I bet Naoto-kun wouldn't get all indecisive about these things. When I sigh and take out my cell, I notice I have an email.
Oh, it's from Yukiko-senpai.
It's a summary of what the investigation team talked about today, and the time we're meeting tomorrow.
Junes at 6 a.m.? That's early. I bet some of those guys are gonna be late for sure.
I laugh, but it quickly turns into a sigh. I have tomorrow off thanks to Inoue-san, and while I'm happy I get to see everyone, I'm a little bummed out too. I couldn't do anything during that incident. I don't remember anything else about that day after I finished shopping for dinner at Junes. When I came to, I was already in the announcement room in the TV world under the surveillance of General Teddy. In the end, it doesn't even matter. It turned out that General Teddy was Labrys' shadow, taking on Teddy's form. The Shadow is holding this event called the P1 Grand Prix and forcing my senpai to fight each other in it. Since I was captured, they used my voice and likeness to goad everyone into hurting each other. I thought I sounded cool saying I had work, but I got kidnapped, imprisoned, and watched them use my face and voice to confuse everyone.
At this rate, I can barely face Senpai and the others.
You Senpai will be going back tomorrow. I think about Fuka-san, who had such tremendous powers that she could help Mitsuru-san's group by describing what was going on in the TV world, even from outside. I wish I could be that useful.
The next stop is Yaso Inaba. Yaso Inaba.
What the? That was a weird place to cut the announcement off. All of a sudden, all the lights in the train turn off, and the train that had already begun to slow down to its last stop grinds to a halt.
Oh no! A blackout?
I look out the window to check. A huge red moon dominates the sky, and in the direction the train was heading, there looks to be a giant red cocoon. Is that fog?
What is that? Inaba's that way.
I turn around. There's no one in the train. They've all disappeared. The train car was pretty empty, but I'm positive I wasn't the only passenger before.
Wait, what's going on? Oh right, my cell.
Thinking I might be able to find something out if I contact someone, I look at the phone I'm still holding after checking my email. But it seems to have turned off by itself, since the screen remains black. No matter how many times I press the power button, it won't turn on.
It's broken? Of all the times. Guys, you Senpai.
Apart from the confusion, a sensation I know all too well starts to rise in me. I can't believe it, but there's no mistake.
This feeling. It can't be. It's like I'm inside the TV.
I'm moving before I can think twice. I yank open the door using the emergency lever and jump out onto the tracks. I begin running towards the Yaso Inaba train station. Now's not the time to stay and cower here. To be continued.